Please welcome your nominee for Agriculture Commissioner, Susan Hayes.
Hey y'all, I'm a country girl with a law degree and a penchant for good trouble. Since I was a teenager, I've gotten into every good fight I've found, standing up for democratic values like reproductive rights and voting rights. I grew up in Brownwood, right in the middle of Texas, and now I live in Alpine, having gotten back to the country. I've seen how democratic policies like rural electrification lift up rural America, while Republican policies like the refusal to expand Medicaid push us down. I helped draft and pass the law that legalized hemp in Texas. Then I saw how open and notorious the corruption under Sid Miller's Department of Agriculture is, and it pissed me off. This office is about more than cattle and cotton. It's about school lunches and rural economic development. It's about saving rural hospitals and health care. It's increasing trade in Texas ag products around the world. This office should ensure access to healthy food for all Texans, from the heart of Houston to the outskirts of Dumas. How we grow our food affects our land, our air, and our water. This is about climate change and food security. If we think big, we can change Texas for the better. Like all bullies, thank you, my opponent is a small person. He thinks small, he acts small, he picks petty fights. He picks on anybody different from him, from women to trans kids. He does not think big for Texas. Hell, I'm not even sure he shows up to work. Sid Miller is so bad, Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick won't even talk to him. When I'm ag commissioner, I'm gonna clean that place up, fight for rural health care and rural economic development, promote environmentally and economically sustainable agriculture. And with me, you also get an expert in cannabis policy. It is time to legalize cannabis and stop incarcerating people over a plant. Now, corruption can be comical, like taking a taxpayer-paid state plane to Oklahoma to get a Jesus shot. Corruption can be obvious, like Miller's political consultant getting indicted for trying to sell $100 hemp licenses for tens of thousands of dollars. Corruption is the pay-to-play culture that permeates Texas right now. But I'm also running against a more subtle kind of corruption that is more damaging than those others because they rot our government and our society to the core. The soft corruption of using the powers of your office not for the greater good of Texas, but strictly to further your own political career. That partisan corruption of using our tax dollars and government programs only to help those Texans who vote for your party. Like Miller, joining a lawsuit to keep black farmers from getting the same financial support as white folks, and stopping the back payment on the debt owed to those farmers for decades of government discrimination. The cancerous corruption of our politics and political discourse that has paralyzed our ability to tackle any problem, like vilifying immigrants when they built this state, refusing to admit we need those workers in our fields and factories, or that the resulting labor shortage is driving up inflation while simultaneously diminishing our balance of trade with other countries. Instead, they're sending law enforcement to the border in defiance of the Constitution, leaving the rest of the state unprotected from crime. They fail to sit down like grown-ups, negotiate, discuss, and find solutions to our broken immigration system. That destructive corruption of not caring what your policies do to people, their health and safety, and their ability to make a living, to refuse to expand Medicaid so that more Texans have access to health care and our rural hospitals have a better chance of staying open, to fail to take advantage of the American Rescue Plan's $1 billion for small meatpacking plants to compete with corporate monopolies so ranchers get more money for their cattle and consumers pay less for meat, to stage a blockade at the border, claiming an invasion, disrupting our food supply and costing border businesses billions of dollars. The Republican leadership does not care to govern at all. They only care about themselves. They are bullies who do not care who they hurt or who dies. Not in the pandemic, not in the big freeze, not in our schools. The corruption of Texas won't stop until we win elections. Now, you're hearing from the ticket tonight Together, we propose a new era of Texas governance, one that cares about getting it right, trusting data and science, working together, and always, always thinking of what's best for Texas. When people ask you out there, what do Democrats stand for, you all have the answer. We fight for human rights. We don't pick on kids for cheap political points. We respect ethics and the rule of law. We don't use the government's power for political stunts and to impose one side's religion on the rest of us. We work together and use our powers to solve problems. We don't refuse to talk to each other when we disagree. Texas is broken, and we are here to fix it. We have to all fight for a new Texas, a just Texas, a prosperous and loving Texas. Thank all of y'all for the hard work you're going to be doing to help us win in November.